So here's an idea I have to make a better glass, and only for some uses. But one major problem with glass is A, price, you can always have something cheaper. B, its environmental impact, um, and its heaviness. But also that it cracks very easily if you heat up and cool it down a lot. And in general, it cracks easily into a lot of fine things that can cut people, hurt people. So for some applications, we don't need clear, nice glass. There's many applications that we do need clear, nice glass. But I'm thinking about for dishes, silverware, and a lot of other things. And my idea is for those specific applications, we put a little bit of finely ground dust from industrial processes nearby, so we don't put this dust into the environment, or it's more sensitive glass up finer so you can extract more minerals from it. For other things, well, then we leave the leftovers and use it for there, so we reduce the amount of mining we have to do. And we have to reduce the amount of glass we make because we're putting this dust in. And how this dust would then make it also cheaper because it's a waste product is this dust would also, we don't have to melt the dust, we only have to melt the glass, which in some ways could reduce the amount of energy needed melting. Yes, the dust would heat up, but not as much as the glass would melt first and we can pour it over it. But anyways, let's get back to why this will prevent cracking specifically. Well, crack, when it hits, well, cracks form in a couple of ways. One is, once they actually start forming, if they move from a material where the crack can spread through it easily, they get bigger and bigger, and a small imperfection can become huge. Now, if there's a lot of dust or particles of it that's slightly different, the crack may not be a particle because it hits an obstacle, or hits something that turns, and it could turn on itself, or turn in a different direction, or take a different pathway so it doesn't spread out as fast. Another thing is it could even get stuck in like a local area and doesn't affect the whole structure because it's surrounded. The other thing is that now once a crack forms or imperfection, these little bodies, sometimes the crack can heal itself because the heat remelt it, or the molecules move in and form it, but that can only happen on very small scales. Or the material that we put in the matrix could actually heal it and expand into those ones. Another way that these powders could help it is powders could help it in relieving some stress. So if it expands differently, the powders can shrink and absorb some of the shock of expanding or contracting differently. And the powders could actually make it more thermic, help spread out the heat more evenly out throughout the whole thing even, which will make the heating and cooling much more even. And it could even slowly leak in, act as a reservoir, because part of the problem for glass expanding and contracting, causing it to be different, is that ions and stuff move around differently, and those can be absorbed or given off by these particles quite easily at the surface, and that could help smooth out that transition. So, and if you have a glassware that lasts longer, we have to make less of it in the beginning, and so it'll be kind of a thing to do it. Now, disadvantages of this whole system. It can be hard to recycle into a use that's not what it's already been used for, such as a high-end use. It's hard to, because then if you recycle for high-end use, you'd have to purify out the particles. The particles might also give it not the clearest look, or might give it a different look. Now that look might be able to popularize. Like you can have ones with different dusts in it, they have different colors, or you can have it also have like iridescence, which could be very cool if you had iridescent glass, because a lot of small particles do have that effect. So I don't think it's horrible, but that is those points to make sure. Some people might be wondering about dust being toxicity. It's really trapped into the glass, so it should not be toxic if well made in any ways. And also, that only would be for very specific ones containing heavy metals or other toxins already in it. Well, thank you very much for listening. Please like and subscribe, it really helps the channel out. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers in a year and 4,000 watch hours, which is really hard, but really help. I think you can do it. Also, if you have any ideas for future videos, comments, or suggestions, please leave in the comment section below. Again, thank you very much. Goodbye.